Hi, Robert Chuckrow here. Taiji has become very popular in recent years, especially for older people. And at this time, there are a lot of activities that are called Taiji, but are not. They have no relationship to Taiji, or so little that it's not valid at all. And the name Taiji has become hijacked for monetary purposes. What I'm going to talk about is not that, but something different that is legitimate, which is modifying Taiji for people with limitations, who are in pain, who have injuries, who are old, and I'm one of them. I'm 87. So that these people can get the benefits of Taiji, true Taiji, minus certain elements that they just can't do, which can be changed. And I'm going to show some of how you can change the footwork in this video so that it's a little bit easier for such people. The modifications that I'm going to make are similar or along the same lines as what it seems Yang Cheng Fu made as he got older, either for himself or for the people he was teaching, or both. So for example, let's take the move ward off left. After the hands come down, the way it is in the Cheng Min Ching form, which is the way Yang Cheng Fu originally taught, as far as I can see, is to turn the right foot out at 90 degrees and then step. That's too much for some people. And at this stage in my life, it's too much for me. So what I do is I turn as much as my body turns, and now I'm stepping at about 45 degrees. For the next move, ward off right, what I do is sit back a little bit and turn my left foot. There's some weight on it, but remember, in a lot of these stances, we're shifting weight with 30% of the weight on the rear leg anyway. So I take some of the weight off, turn it in, pivoting on the heel at about 45 degrees, and now this step is, again, 45 degrees instead of 90 degrees. The next few moves have no stepping. The next move is single whip. So this foot has to turn in 90 degrees. For some people, it can't. And then this foot steps all the way out at another 90 degrees. A lot of people can't do that either. So I let people step into a diagonal. But that's not a problem because the next move, raise hands, can be done at 45 degrees and the foot is already at 45 degrees. Later on in the form, we have the moves white crane. So after strike with shoulder, what I do is sit back a little bit, turn on the heel, and come up to white crane, etc. Then go into the brush knee. So that can be done up until the cross hands. After the cross hands, there's another step now at 135 degrees. So I shift into my left leg, bring my right foot parallel to my left, shift into my right foot instead of right away stepping. Shift into my right foot, turn, step my left foot and turn it a little more on the heel, pivoting on the heel, and then it's easy to step into a diagonal direction. If the person can't even do that, let's say they can just turn at 45 degrees, then maybe do carry target to mountain in a cardinal direction. Then when it comes to the single whip, it'll be easier to do, etc. It'll be easier to do the diagonal single whip. Later on in the form, we have the transition from repulse monkey into diagonal flying, which is a 135 degree step. So for example, let's say I'll face in this direction, my right foot is forward, all my weight is on my left foot, and my 2 feet are parallel, shoulder width apart, I turn, instead of stepping diagonally, I'm going to rotate my right foot on the heel while my weight is on my left foot. Shift onto the right foot. Let my left foot step up, heel touches, and I turn my foot into the cardinal direction. And now I step diagonally. That's a 45-degree step, but I've managed to simulate a 135-degree step. The next move, which requires a 130-degree step, is from the last repulse monkey into diagonal flying. So my weight is 100% on my left leg. My left foot is in, both feet are in a cardinal direction, shoulder width apart, right foot is empty. So what a person can do if they can't step 135 but can step 90 is to step straight forward and do this in a cardinal direction. Then step up to do cloud hands, and this right foot will be where it needs to be. It won't have to turn to face the starting direction. The other possibility is if they, let's say, can only step 45 degrees, instead of trying to step now, what I do is pivot my foot as I turn and shift on. Then step my left foot, turn a little more, and it's facing the starting direction. And now I step 45 degrees into diagonal flying. The next move is after the separate left foot, instead of spinning on the heel 135 degrees, step back with the left foot, shift, turn, cross the hands, turn the right foot in at an angle a little bit, and then you should be able to do that move, etc. The next one is four corners, and I'm back after a few days of thinking about how best to talk about this. So we'll take the fourth corner, which is the same basically as the second corner except for the direction, but I think this works better on the camera. So I'm facing, if this was the starting direction, my facing the camera with the starting direction, that would call that north, and this would be east, and so this is southeast. And the move goes from southeast to southwest, all the way around 270 degrees. So that's a hard step to take. There are two difficulties in this move for everyone, even in not just beginners. But one of the difficulties is turning this left foot 135 degrees. And the problem is that you may not have enough room, because if you didn't take a little bigger stance, you didn't remember to take a little bigger stance in this, which would give you that space, then what happens is the feet can actually touch. And even if you did have the room, it's very hard to turn that foot in this much. This is like the reverse of the single whip, but harder. And now, that other step is again another 135 degrees. So to facilitate this, this is what I actually do. Lift my foot and bring it over. It's empty, so I can do that. I'll let it go with my body and bring it over and then turn it in a little bit. So instead of facing the camera, it's going to be facing a little that way. And now I can take this step a little bit more leisurely. And so this is the way I tell my students to do it if they can't, they have trouble. See, bring it in, and I'm pivoting on the ball of my right foot as I turn this foot in. Now I've turned it pretty much 180 degrees, and now this step is within reach. So this is these are very hard moves, and from here you can turn this foot in as you go into ward off left, or You can leave it there, and then again, it's another 135-degree step, but with the on the other side than all of the others. One of the problems in this is when people go to step, let's say I'm here, and they go to step, they angle the foot out. They're leading with the toe. And then when they step, see how I've lost my width? If I turn, I don't have any width at all. And so the way to take this step is not to lead with the foot. Just as a hand is not a hand, think of it as a foot is not a foot. We're opening this and letting the foot go where it needs to be. And if it's not exactly in the 45-degree direction, I don't worry about it. And I tell my students not to worry about it. Because it's more important that the internals be correct than the externals. Thank you.